Break out your Aussie hiking boots because we are going down under to learn how to play the song I just posted called Going Under. So we're gonna learn how to play it, we're gonna learn how to record it, all that stuff. I think it's a fun song to play, and I got my trusted MusicMan Albert Lee HH here, and we're gonna be in drop D tuning, right? So you just tune the low E string down to a D, right? So basically this whole kind of thing is patterned around one riff. So it could be kind of like a good lesson in how to reuse a riff without it getting stale, just by like banging home the same riff over and over and over again. But basically the main thing kind of goes like this. And there are a couple different parts and a couple different ways that I play it. So palm muting has a lot to do with the sound of this track, and also besides that, kind of the crunchiness of the Mesa Boogie 525 that I use is on the crunch channel with the gain way up, and it's a little bit quieter for the purpose of the shooting of this video, but I really had the tube screaming to kind of get that sound, right? So what we're doing is we're just really kind of hitting the low D string now and the A string, right? And we're hitting them together, but I've got my right hand here, and I'm kind of muting the bridge, right? So it kind of gives it that, almost that like evil sound, right? So it's gonna start out with two of those, and then into this little pull-off thing. On the B string, 3, 1, open. Now, if you don't know, the reason it sounds good going from there to there is because this is a low D being muted into a D note. This is the B string, so B, C, C sharp, D. So we've got just one pick and two pull-offs. 3, 1, B into like an F kind of voice chord. And I hit it twice, so 1, 2, slide to what's a G, right? So and then a lot of vibrato on the way down, right? So pull off, chords. And then the second time you do it, you get a little bit of separation between the F and the G, right? So we've got first time, second time. And this is kind of the intro. Now, when the drums and stuff kick in, it kind of opens up a little bit. So when I say it opens up, what I mean is that the palm muting kind of goes away, and it's more of just like an open. All right, now that kind of goes on, rocks a little bit, and then it goes into the verse, right? And something that happens a lot in rock songs is when it's a verse and vocals come in, the volume goes down. And now I didn't actually adjust the volume of the guitar. All I did was I severely muted it, right? So instead of just kind of like half muting like that, so there's a sustained kind of mute, which isn't so much different than just not muting at all, into more of like a... Now I'm really I've got my palm really choking those strings down, right? So we're gonna go 2 hits on the low E string, which is really D. 1, 2, into the A string. 5, 3, 2, up a string, E. So we've got E, E, 5, 3, 2, 3, E, 3, 5, 3. I'm still gonna call it the E string, even though it's a D, just because it's kind of confusing, right? So. And sometimes I'll go open 3, 5, 3. So E, E, 5, 3, 2, 3, 3, open 3, 5, 3. And then the second time I do it, I change it a little bit. So instead of this, it's just kind of like a regular barred drop D chord. So 3E and 3A twice into the 5th fret with a good amount of vibrato. So both of them together. Changes is in the second verse, there's kind of like a little riff, right? You gotta love riffs. So the way to do that is just replace that second part of the verse with a open 3, 5. This is all hammer on to 3/8. So basically goes into, I guess, what we can call like a pre-chorus, which is... is octave. So I'm starting on the 5A, and an octave away from that is 7G. Once, twice, back 2 frets to C, to that power chord. There's a lot of slides back too, which, you know, you can't slide back too often with a lot of distortion. So we've got 5A, octave 3, A, octave 3, 5. In between the 3 and 5, I'm mute. 5, second time. You gotta add that bend. It's kind of like a slow bend. Just coming down. And then that goes into the main, which is the same thing we did in the first part. Now, it's actually double-tracked guitars, and one of them I'm getting a little more bite from the top of the chord. So even though I'm playing it like this, I'm really just kind of focusing on the G and B strings. Because it kind of gives a little more separation and width, I suppose, compositionally. But anyways, so that's the chorus, and that kind of repeats a couple times, and then it goes into like a breakdown, right? So after that, this is one hit. I let it go, let it ring out, and then you start just kind of like a open drop D chug. A couple different things going on, but the main kind of foundation of it is just a... So it's really, really steady, but you have to kind of get the accents right. Accent, accent, accent. And then in the background, there's another guitar track that's going like... So this is just kind of like a, I guess like a pedal type thing, if you've ever heard of those before. I'm going the low D, the low E string twice, 5A back to E, 3. So E, E5, E5, 3, E. Now I'm on the E string. And once I get to the E string, it's just 5, 3, and open, so. And I'm kind of going back and forth, and it starts out pretty severely muted, like a lot of it. And all it is I'm backing off of the palm and I'm creating a dynamic. I'm not even touching the volume knob or anything like that. I'm just using different palm muting techniques to kind of create a dynamic, right? And then when it comes out of that, it probably goes to my favorite part of this whole song at the, I guess it goes back into the pre-chorus. So it's kind of like more mutes. And right here, I'm thinking of this as the bottom of a 5-7-7 D power chord, but I'm just getting my ring finger and my pinky to kind of leave more room for the bass guitar, right? So it's kind of like a lot of vibrato, same thing, mute to 5. And then I go back to the 3 to 5. 5, 6, 5. And then kind of that bend again, which brings us to the rocking outro chorus, which is a little bit different than that. I'm kind of doing it all on, this is like the beauty of drop D, you get like really the thickness of those low chords. So all on one string, really, it's open. I'm going down to 12, which is the octave, so this is another D. I'm kind of sliding it back to 3. 5, 3, and you really can't have. It's kind of like a combination between bending and vibrato. I guess it's like really severe vibrato, I guess you'd call it. There's that bend again. Then you just have to scream with it. Then you just have to work on screaming with it. Help myself from going under. You need to scream it, which is so hard to do over and over again. But basically, that is kind of the backbone of most of the song chord-wise. At least this is the part that I did on the Albert Lee. So to recap, muted part 1. Into the unmuted one. Into the muted verse. With the hammer on. Into the octaves. Bend, and then after that we have the bridge. Into the nastiest part. And that is essentially how you kind of play it. Kind of fun, whatever. Thanks for checking it out. Let me know if you have any questions.